and then we're going to play a game. So, for this quick start, we want to select the expressions that are equivalent. Can anyone tell me, what does the word equivalent sound like to you? Equal. So we want to know which of these expressions are equal. All right, great job. I would say your name, but I'm recording. Good job. All right. So what that means is we're going to reduce all of them in order to figure it out. So we are going to simplify them. Remember, in Spanish, we're going to simplify. So what you should see is every time you see a division line, okay, every time you see a fraction, this should mean division to you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split them up. Okay, let me make this a little closer. One moment. All right, so when we have our division here, we're going to split it up because this 2 is being divided by the 4t, but it's also being divided by that negative 10. So we're going to divide them. So first we have 4t divided by 2. Take a moment and think, what is 4 divided by 2? We have 2t. And now we have 10 divided by 2. You can show me by your hands as well. 10 divided by 2. Nice. 10 divided by 2? Yes. Okay, so we know that 4t minus 10 divided by 2 is also equal to 2t minus 5. Right now, I don't see any 2t's minus 5, so this one may not be equivalent. We don't know yet. Let's see if we can simplify this one. Now, you can show me by your hand 1 or 2. How many times are we going to divide by 2? How many times? So we're actually going to divide by 2 one time because this 10 is by itself, so imagine if it's under 1. So I only have 4t divided by 2, it's going to be 2t minus 10. Now that I've reduced all of them, we know that this first expression does not have anything equal. This next one is equal to this, and this one doesn't have anything equal. So notice, because we simplified, we were able to find what was equivalent. So depending on what extra work you do after the game, you may be practicing this or you may be going a bit further, just to make sure that you feel comfortable. Do I have any questions with this? Okay, all right. Well, let's solve some equations, okay? When we solve equations, we're always going to do the same steps over and over and over again. So when we isolate the variable, our goal is to always get the variable by itself. Okay? You can use your colors if you like, but you always want to get the variable by itself. So imagine if we're going to do this, we're going to do SADMET, which means that we're always going to add or subtract first. Then we will multiply or divide. Actually, I'm going to erase this. Instead, I want you to think about this in a different way. When you do this math here, I want you to think about it like clothes, okay? Let's say if I'm trying to get ready for bed and I want to take off my clothes in order to get ready, would I take off my jacket first or would I take off my shirt first? I would take off my jacket. So you always want to do the outer layer first, and then you want to get closer and closer to x. So when I look here, I have 11x minus 4. So I have to do the inverse. When I think about which one I want to do first, the outer step is that minus 4. I'm going to undo the minus 4 by doing the opposite. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So notice how I did the outer layer. Take a moment and simplify it. So now that means I have 11x is equal to, we have 3, carry the 1, 33. And so now I have 11x is equal to 33. What is the opposite? The inverse of multiplication? Division. So that means I'm going to divide by 11. X is equal to 3. So I want you to take a moment, and I want you to try the next problem, the one that is to the right. So try this problem here. paper. Thank you. Now, here's the great part about us having a smaller class right now, is that I can really check in with everyone. So thank you all for being patient. Really want to make sure that everyone felt successful. So we're going to add 6 on both sides. Remember, we are doing the inverse to both sides. I have 2a is equal to 10. Now, 2 and a are being multiplied, so I want to undo it by dividing by 2. So a is equal to 5. Now I'm going to show you how to do a question like this. All right? So here we have a plus 7 is equal to 8. The issue is everything is being divided by 8. So before I can even get to a plus 7, I have to get rid of this dividing by 8. So as you said, the opposite of multiplication is division. So if I want to undo division, I need to now multiply by 8. When I multiply by 8, it gets rid of my denominator. So if you have a fraction that is in the way, hey lovelies, this part's new. So if you have a denominator, you want to get rid of it by multiplying, because everything is being divided by 8. So if I multiply everything by 8, I'll get rid of the denominator. So I have a plus 7 is equal to 40. Okay. So give me a thumbs up, thumbs middle, thumbs down. How did you feel about this? Thumbs up, I get it. Thumbs middle, I need another example. Thumbs down, go over it again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sunny? Brian? Anthony Armani? Thank you. All right, so another way for you to think about it is that if you're looking at this question here, imagine if it looks like a plus 7 divided by 8. So in order to get rid of it, you would have to multiply by 8 first in order to even get close to a. So if I want to get close to a, I have to get rid of everything on the outside first. So if I was running to the door, I would have to move everything out of my way. So you want to get what's closest or what's farther first. Okay. So now that I have 8 plus 7, I'm going to subtract 7. Since I'm adding 7, I'm doing the opposite. So I have a is equal to 33. Because remember, the goal is I want this a by itself. All right. So next, I want you to try out this next problem here. It looks exactly the same. So I want you to use this question like a pattern. It's a pattern. Okay? So go over, what did I do first? Look at my first step, then I want you to do your first step. Okay? Now, if you have finished those two, I want you to try the next one. All right, so here's something that I noticed on some students' papers. You want me to check it? No? Okay. Here's what I noticed on some students' papers. The first thing I noticed is that some people multiplied by a positive 2. Remember that we're looking for the action and we're going to do the opposite. So the opposite of a dividing by -2 is to multiply by a -2. So if I'm multiplying by a -2, I should have -30. Okay. The next thing I noticed is that some students said that this is a -29. But let's think of a number line. If I have 30 minus 1, minus 1 means that we're going to go to the left. So that means when I go to the left, it should be -31, not -29. So using some of these skills, I would like for you to try out these two problems. Now these look different from what we went over, but I want to see if you're able to discern between the two. There's enough of us where we can go over this part together, but in order to get your assignment, I want you to try these two on your own. Sound good? All right, and if you have any questions, raise your hand. There is not a lot of you, and there's me, so I'll be happy to help. Okay? You ready? One second, I'll be right there, look. Yes, and the answer on that. Hey, Chris, answer on the back. Hey, Lucas. I'm glad that you're really connected with these dominoes, and I would like you guys to finish. I appreciate that. So what you should have done is finish. Yeah, you could have got me to go on for it. Now, will you be letting us assign it on your own, or are we doing it together? I'll let y'all, how about this, we all decide on the back. Yeah. Can you put it in here? Now, one thing I want you to see is, I want you to look at this equation. Does this equation look like this one, or does it look like that? Which one does it look more like? So I want you to work on those steps. Which one? So this one, I'm going to get you to think about it for a little bit. Does this one look like this question? Or does this one look more like this question? Which one? Okay, so I want you to look at this first step, and then it's probably your first step here is going to be okay. This equation, does it look like this one? Does it look like that? You see that? Minus 10. So this one, you have it all on your base. This one here has here. They all have minus 10. So you want it to look like this. That's it? Okay, now let's see. Okay, so I want you to try to find the first step, and I'm going to check it out. So this question here, does it look like this equation, or does it look like that equation? So I want you to look at this first step, and then figure out which your first step here should be. Yeah, like that, okay? And now notice how I have d over 5. What's happening here? Is it being added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided? What's the opposite of division? You know what it should look like? That's a good question. You see how here we multiply by negative 2 is going to put in. So on the sides here, you have to put 5 in. And now, now it's going to 12. And let me see. Nice. Okay, now b divided by 5. Yeah. Adrian, I don't think you needed me. I think you just wanted me to check.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this one's like a fraction. What's the opposite of subtraction? I want you to write it like this. So equal So this operation is division. Yes. What's the opposite of division? So multiply by 2. No, that's division. Your line is division. So in parentheses, it's going to be what's 12 times 5? I know that for some of us we have one more. Is it going okay? We're gonna work on this one together. Please get some time. Alright, so for some of you that have finished this one, great work. I'm gonna help you a little bit with this one to get you started. So we added by 10. Notice how this question looks like this question here. The only thing that's different is you're dividing instead of multiplying. So you're going to add 10 on both sides. Now we're going to multiply by 5. So we have b is equal to 60. Okay. And this one here, we're going to do the last one. I'm going to help some of you out. So in this one here, we have to make it more simple. So we want to combine terms. So if I have, how many n's do I have? 3. So I'm going to write 3n. That's going to match my n's here. Okay. But then I'm going to highlight the numbers on this side of the equation. Then I have to combine 2 plus 4. And 2 plus 4 is 6. So now you would solve that one like usual. So solve it. Okay, and then we'll move on. After this question, I'll give you guys about a 5-minute break and then we'll work on the assignment for today. I'm coming. You've earned your break, love. That's a good first step. Keep it going. That's a good first step, Mark. Should the answer be smaller or bigger? Smaller. One more time. Yeah, you're close, but it's not that number. Alrighty, I'm going to finish the last one, and then I'm going to give you guys your 5-minute break. So here, and I see you, love, I'll be right there, okay? Alright, so we're going to subtract by 6 from both sides, because that's the opposite. I now have 3n is equal to 36. I divide by 3. My n is equal to 12. Right. Alrighty, y'all. I'll see you back in about 5 minutes.